It is down to the wire. It is Europe's last hope against Method's last hope. No matter what, history is going to be made here on the BlizzCon stage. Any of these players, it will be their first BlizzCon win. I could not be more excited to see how this all goes down. We are going to jump into this semifinal and then the grand final. My name is Rich Campbell, and I am joined on this desk by a bunch of beautiful faces. I got Venruki, Healing Stat, and Sidu. Sidu, how much North American pride are you filled with right now?
I feel really, really good for Panda Global. Panda Global is definitely one of the biggest underdogs in this tournament, and they really brute forced their way into this finals. They had really, really difficult matchups, and honestly, I lost that North American Regionals. I lost that team. It definitely makes me feel not as bad when they're up on that main stage, the main stage doing what I could not do last year. So it's a little unfinished business. I'm really happy for those guys. They're really, really great guys. I'm happy to see them in this finals, and I'm really excited to get into this next match.
And you're no stranger to the other North American team that could make it to the grand final. It all comes down to this next match. We got Method Synergy. What do you think of this lineup? I know you're very close with Rich.
Well, what we saw earlier was Splice actually lost to ABC, and they play very, very similar comps to Synergy, but they play them in such a different way that I think Synergy still has a really good shot. I think when I was talking to Method Synergy, I was getting the vibe that they actually wanted ABC to win, so maybe the stars are kind of aligning because they took Panda Global out in the North American Regional, so maybe it's just set up. It is destined for Mez to win his last chance from what we've been hearing. So I'm really excited to get into these games. ABC's looking really, really good, but we're going to have to see if Synergy can best them.
I know a lot of the people on the desk, though, do know sometimes your last chance isn't really your last chance. So maybe we will see Mez come back, but this is a big, big shot for him, and definitely excited to see what they can do. What do you think, Venruki, going into this matchup? How do you think these two teams will line up against each other?
Well, it's kind of like Sidu said, Method Synergy, they're pretty happy that ABC did win their matchup against Splice. Although Splice does play very similar compositions, like Chuck was saying, Method Synergy plays it in such different ways. They've been playing super aggressive in this tournament so far. We'll have to see if ABC can play a solid defense. If they cannot, I think Method Synergy should be able to run them down.
Well, the time for guessing is over. Let's see what these teams have. It's time for ABC versus Method Synergy.
Let's not forget, Europe is not out of this competition just yet. ABC was one of our strongest contenders. Gamescom, they took Method to Game 7, and they have looked phenomenal on this Arcane Mage. I'm so happy to see Alec in this match. He has won 90% of his games on the BlizzCon stage this year.
Yeah, he has been doing a phenomenal job throughout this entire tournament, but the gates are about to open. Method Synergy going up against ABC. I expect ABC with this composition, they need to play a solid defense, try to stall out the game, survive this initial onslaught. Method Synergy is going to be looking to go super aggressive, playing that Windwalker DK. Colo actually immediately getting interrupted there, so Alec wants to get some pressure rolling very early on.
Yeah, I actually like the composition coming out of Method Synergy as well. I think Windwalker DK has good mobility to reach the Arcane Mage. Of course, we've got the Ride the Wind, and they're actually going to swap it over onto Asgraf, immediately forcing the PvP trinket. That is a huge swap already from Method.
That's very nice, though. Trill still has his Touch of Death. He didn't use it, so that next swap over on Asgraf is going to be very dangerous. They can actually just kill through the Bark Skin with the power of that Touch of Death. Alex trying to counterfire right now over onto Mez. Nice polymorph onto Colo. Arcane Power was popped, a lot of damage onto Mez, but he should be completely fine. AMS is going to deflect that attack.
Yeah, so we're watching Nixie and Alec on this next swap. If they can get another good go over onto Asgraf, they need to be the ones peeling. We see another counter spell over onto Colo, getting decent pressure onto Mez. That's going to force the anti-magic zone. He still has his IBF though, so in reasonable shape right now. Asgraf is the target of choice. You see him in the bear form, sitting max range at the pillar. He needs to avoid this next death grip.
Yeah, Trill and Asgraf have a little bit of a mind game going on right now. Trill wants to get that incapacitate over on Asgraf, but it looks like he might just go for it. Bash over on Trill. Good job by Asgraf trying to slow down some of this damage, but Method Synergy is looking for the kill. They're trying to put a lot of pressure over on Asgraf. Leg sweep into bear form. They do not care. A lot of damage. Can Barkskin keep Asgraf alive? He is going to be able to displace behind the pillar. Mez, unfortunately, not able to get that death grip, so Asgraf's going to be completely fine.
Yeah, but look at what they committed. The Touch of Death is still available for Trill. They get the Barkskin. They get the fear. The intimidating shout coming out. Nixie also the die by the sword here, although that's not so significant. So now we have a 40-second window where Asgraf has no defensive cooldowns. If they can get one more swap to him, they can take this game.
Oh, Nixie! Touch of Death onto Nixie! Can he survive? No more defensive cooldowns available. Asgraf doing everything he can with that Iron Bar. Nixie cutting away, doing a great job. Mess having a difficult time reconnecting, but finally does. Trill with the full paralysis over on Asgraf. Nixie gets lower and lower. Stormbolt the last line in defense, but he's down to 2% HP. Polymorph over on Nicole. He's not going to be able to help out, but Nixie goes down. Method Synergy strike first blood.
And sturdy, and they're going to take that blind pick. Sidu, let's break it down play by play.
I actually don't know if that blind pick was in favor of Synergy, but they had a game plan and they executed to it. I'm not sure if Warrior was the best melee for ABC. They could try the Assassination Rogue, they could try the Windwalker Monk, but Synergy just doing exactly what they wanted. They threw Asgroth off guard. They wanted to let him know that they were going to put the pressure on him. They immediately swap over onto Nixie, not letting him feel too comfortable. They're leaving Alec out of the situation, which is the biggest advantage for their composition. If he can't abuse that mobility, they're going to be in a world of hurt because Synergy is going to be connecting on to whoever they want. So great job by Synergy. Colo getting in there, making sure he's being aggressive, and then although they did a great job peeling, they weren't able to hang on, so Synergy takes game one.
I want to know what everyone at home is thinking. If you think that NA can do it, be sure to vote in the Twitch chat. But if you think that EU can bring it back in this next game, go ahead and type that into Twitch chat. Either hashtag ABC for ABC or SYN for Method Synergy. We want to know what you think in Twitch chat, and we will show the results in just a few short seconds here. But then, Rookie, that Arcane Mage looked pretty hard to hit. I'm thinking about Mez in particular, just trying to reconnect. How difficult is it actually going to be to get pressure on an Arcane Mage?
Well, the thing is, I mean, they don't need to pressure down the Arcane Mage. In that last game, they basically completely ignored him, putting a little damage, but mostly committing to the Restoration Druid as well as that Warrior. It worked out beautifully for them in that last game. ABC just couldn't hold on much longer. I mean, I really like what Colo is doing. He's doing an excellent job. Me and Sidu kind of talked about it, how he turns into like a third DPS for his team. At one point, when they decide to get aggressive, pull the trigger, he charges in, making sure he's landing those Earth Shocks, making sure he's spamming out those purges over and over, and it becomes very difficult for a Restoration Druid to handle.
Now, I've been living off the energy here, and I've definitely been on that NA bandwagon, but when I actually was sitting down and trying to decide which teams I thought could take it, ABC was definitely in the running. This is one of the most impressive teams that we've seen throughout the entire season. And on top of that, they said to us, Sneaky Snakes were one of their hardest competition. They go down to them in opening week. Then once they get here on the main stage, they're able to take out Sneaky Snakes. They said the compositions that they brought just didn't gel well with them, but they went to the drawing board. They broke out some stuff we hadn't even seen from them before, and they're able to take them down. Now, when they're up against a team that we know that they prepared well for, I think they may have a trick up their sleeve, Adrian.
Yeah, I think so as well. And I think one of the cool things about watching this tournament has been such diversity of the compositions. We've seen 19 series so far at BlizzCon. We've seen 22 different specializations played. That's more than half of them, so that's very phenomenal for a tournament meta. ABC has played 13 different compositions in this tournament. That's the most of any team. Nixie with 5 different specializations. These guys, they really can diversify. They've got lots of options, but the focal point is always Alec on the Arcane Mage. We didn't see him much at Gamescom, the European regionals, but here at BlizzCon, he has been instrumental to their success, and we have to see him step up again for his team, the captain, in Game 2.
And that was a lot of numbers, all of them very impressive. But for you guys at home who don't like doing maths on the weekend, all of those numbers equal one thing, and it's that Alec is an absolute genius.
Yep.
This guy is just a mastermind sitting there making those compositions. You talk about him coming up big, Adrian, with plays for the team, but he also comes up big in the leadership department, really helping them work out these compositions. I saw them last night, actually, when we were walking over to dinner, and the way that they work as a team is just a beautiful thing, and I'm very confident in them. But Method Synergy, no one to be messed with, and now they lead by 1.
Yep, it does look like ABC. They're going to be locking in Tiger's Peak. Method Synergy opting to change their composition, keeping ABC guessing. I really like this decision coming in from them. They have so many different cleave setups they can run. Mez now going to be switching from that Death Knight to that Demon Hunter. And honestly, a lot of people don't know this about Mez, but he has primarily been playing that Demon Hunter this expansion. He is phenomenal on it. He's looked great so far. And I think this is a very smart choice by them, switching it up.
That's the other thing when you actually look at ABC as well. We talked about them being multi-compers, but Method Synergy is very similar in that regard. These teams are both teams that they want to counter comp as much as they can, but Mez was one of the innovators as well to come up with that double Demon Hunter and really make it look very strong. They're also very good at adapting to what other teams do and using it against them. And now, Sidu, we have seen both of these compositions come in from our teams. How do you think this one actually plays out?
Well, we saw this matchup play out a little bit earlier. I believe this is the exact matchup that Splice actually ran into ABC, and ABC was able to take every single game. So we're going to have to see if Synergy is going to be able to play it differently from Splice. And I think the biggest thing is that Synergy is just going to be super aggressive. And maybe they're going to try and go on the Resto Druid. I thought that could be one of the win conditions that Splyce had. They didn't opt to go for that strategy. They played a lot more defensive, ended up losing and dampening almost every single game until they changed their comp. So obviously Synergy's been playing really aggressive. Colo wants to be a part of this. As Ben said earlier, he turns into that third DPS. They lock into their target and they go for that kill. So we're going to have to see what tricks they have up their sleeves because they know this is a bad matchup for them.
You're looking right now at Alec. We already highlighted just how much of a mastermind and how important he's going to be in this matchup. But before that, you had Trill on your screen from Method. This man is an absolute cold-blooded monster. We saw yesterday him in the 1v1 against Cervantes, clutches up after a reverse sweep, able to take it for this team. We know that they can operate very well from behind. Let's see how they can do when they're out in front. It's ABC versus Method Synergy, game number 2.
And one of the things I really like is that Mez, in the same way we saw in the last series, is going to be running that full burst aggression spec with all of the offensive cooldowns. So watch to see when he pops those. He's going to probably try get a big swap over onto Asgraf or Nixie, I would imagine, due to the slipperiness of Alex. So we definitely want to be watching Mez in this game at the start to see if he can get pressure for his team.
Yeah, Method Synergy had this all planned out. They're looking for an all-in with that Nemesis and that Chaos Blade. The gates to open. We'll have to see Method Synergy. Are they just going to charge in, get super aggro right away? Alec opting not to go for that invisibility. It's going to be building up damage on that Arcane Mage right now. Asgraf out of stealth. He's going to be tossing out some pots to try to preload his team with some healing.
Yep, and one of the big differences, as we were saying on the desk prior to this game, is Colo compared to Novos. Colo is much more lenient when it comes to healing, basically. He wants to be more aggressive in the game, and that's something that ABC want to shut down. You can see early pressure onto Colo is going to deny any aggression. Now, the swap from Mez, he's popping all of his offensive cooldowns onto Asgraf, going to force the trinket.
Alec and Nixie both committed so much and really didn't get anything from Colo there. Colo managing to just tank through a lot of that damage. Chaos Blades and Nemesis have been popped. Asgraf taking quite a bit of damage right now, but he manages to escape behind the pillar. Mez able to reconnect. Full kidney shot over on Colo. This could be his trinket easily as the arcane missiles do connect from Alec. Colo's just going to be popping that Ascendance. Darkness was used by Mez as well. That protective spell that the Demon Hunter has, that's going to keep Colo alive for a little bit longer.
Yeah, I actually like this opener from ABC. I mean, they forced a fair few cooldowns. We see the Darkness, a lot of those increased healings. Just the Spirit Link and Trinket really left over for Colo right now. And also the fact that they're tunneling Colo means he's not able to get so aggressive. We see Incap now over onto Nixie. Colo wants to push up and attack Asgraf with his team. It's something we've seen from them time and time again, but they're denying it. We see Alec sheeping up Mez. He wants to get aggressive over onto Colo. He's getting a fair bit of damage out now. Forced out the Astral Shift. We need to see Method turn this around somehow.
I'm worried for Nixie. Still doesn't have his Trinket up for 10 seconds. That could definitely be an opening for Method Synergy, but Colo now caught into the kidney shot. Still has his Trinket, still has Spirit Link, opting to trade out that Spirit Link. This is the life sweep on a Nixie. No Trinket for 2 seconds. Can they take them down? A lot of burst incoming, but that Iron Bar coming in from Asgraf might be able to deflect. He's getting lower and lower. Evasion and Cloak of Shadows are going to be popped. Nixie trying to reconnect him to some damage and keep up that pressure on Colo, but that was a very close call.
Brave Nixie survives for now. Colo down to about 20% mana. He's been purging a lot, caught up into the full kidney shot. Should Trinket, does Trinket, doesn't have anything left though. Looks like he will fall. Game 2 goes ABC 1-1 in this series.
Hold on here. These are the last hopes for both that region and for that organization. We're going to see these guys play it out for just a second here. Mez and Drill trying to get that damage going, but it looks like ABC has stabilized. Mez should fall down here. This one going the way of ABC.
You can't blame them for trying. We already saw them go to the 2v2, go to the 1v1. Method Synergy have pulled series back from 2-0 before, but they will not in this situation. ABC ties it up.
You play every darn game out when you have Trill on your team. That is for sure. Sidu, what did we see though that enabled ABC to turn this one around?
ABC did exactly what they did in that first game. They were making sure they were sticking on that Shaman. Colo was the targeted choice. I think it's specifically better for them to be on Colo as opposed to Nuvos in the previous series, just because Colo wants to be so aggressive. So you're killing 2 birds with 1 stone. You're stopping those purges. You're stopping him from getting on top of Asgraf. And you actually saw him running at him the whole game. So excellent positioning from Asgraf to make sure he's avoiding those purges. There was one cheeky swap that was on Nixie. He was able to survive. The Iron Bark went out. And unfortunately for Synergy, they have the same fate as Splyce, and they're not able to take it with this composition.
Well, you can see some fans right now of Method Synergy, and I want to see if Method is able to take them to Trillville once again. The question is, though, Is this strategy going to work? Do you think we see a comp switched up, or can Colo find a way to actually stay alive with that aggression that is coming out from our EU squad?
I think the strategy from Synergy was basically say, let's see what you can throw at us. Maybe we can do better than Splice, but now they're on the counter comp. If they lock in the same composition, ABC that is, I definitely expect to see something different from Synergy. Maybe we'll see Maldiva. Maybe we'll go back to the Windwalker DK. I'm not too sure. But Synergy's basically saying, we don't think this matchup's as bad as it looks. We'll take a 50-50 as opposed to giving you exactly what you want, because this way they know what they're getting. They can keep evolving to the strategy. So the fact that they won the first game means they're in such a big lead.
That is also a big thing that we've heard from Method in the past. They like to take those bad matchups and try to make them as close to favorable as they can. But let's take a look at what went down in that last game and why we see ABC tied up here. Let's take a look at the plays you selected, Chuck.
Absolutely, Rich. Thank you very much for that. So obviously we're going to see Asgroth being the targeted choice as well as Colo. So let's go ahead and get this clip started. You see Colo just immediately taking so much damage. I believe this maybe was actually before the stun DR. They immediately forced out that healing tide. And this is the strategy that Splice chose not to do. Asgroth immediately trading out that trinket, knowing he's not in bear form. Bark skin's not going to be enough. They try and stick on him. He smartly uses the Iron Bark as opposed to the Bark skin, knowing that the Bark skin's going to be used at a much later time when he's actually stuck in the stun because he has no trinket. And here we see the full kidney shot on Colo right after the Ascendant. So they're trying to lock that down a little bit. The darkness was used very, very well by Mez, and I think that's something they also did a little bit better than Splice. They're really clean with their defensive cooldowns. A little bit later, they force that Spirit Link. They're so close to getting the kill on Nixie here. You can see his trinket comes up just at that last second of the initial stun, and he decides to sit it anyway. A great communication from Asgroth, letting him know that he has that Iron Bark there, and unfortunately, too little, too late for Colo. He gets the trinket out here in this kidney shot, but he has nothing to work with, and surely he does go down to ABC with that unrelenting pressure from the Rogue Mage.
All tied up now, and before we jump into that draft, I just want to mention, with these two teams, I feel like we could see every game play out incredibly differently. And I think we will also potentially go the distance here. Both of these teams are very capable of winning BlizzCon here today. Ben Rookie, what do you expect to see, though, when we actually have this next draft go down?
Well, like you were saying, I mean, these teams, so much of their success has come from the fact that they are very versatile. Looks like Dalaran Sewers can be immediately locked in for Method Synergy. That's telling me that they might be going with a cleave setup once again. That's what these guys are known for. Maybe they could go with the Windwalker DK, but I really don't feel like they know exactly what comp they want to run. They're going to wait to see what ABC has in store for them and then make an intelligent decision to try to counter the best they can.
Yeah, I think the big thing is here, picking that Dalaran Sewers. You're essentially going, we kind of want to play this play style, but we still have the options to actually adapt on the fly. The ball definitely going to be in ABC's court.
Yeah, and I have to say, if they decide to lock in that Rogue Mage again, I have a lot of experience with the Rogue Mage, although it's not Druid, it was the Priest. The Windwalker DK is very, very scary for that Rogue Mage setup. It's not as durable. They're not going to live as long as they want to. Obviously, with the way Colo's playing, they want to play for that short game. The map kind of tells the story. We actually see ABC lock in that Arcane Assassination Resto Druid once again, and I would not be surprised to see the Windwalker DK, especially on this map, so I think Synergy's probably going to go ahead and lock that in and just try and rush him down.
As far as map's concerned, though, a reasonable pick from ABC. I do like the way that they actually do spec here, but at the end of the day, when we see Method Synergy coming in with this composition that you brought up, it's going to be very scary with this Walking Dead cleave. Now, Adrian, how do you expect to see Method Synergy try to play this one out?
I think it's going to be very similar style to game one. I mean, the difference, of course, is we have Nixie on the Rogue rather than him on the Warrior. I think that's definitely something that will favor ABC. I didn't like the Warrior into Colo just because there's no real protection from the Purge. Even Reflect doesn't actually deny Purges coming out of the Restoration Shaman. So Nixie does have the Cloak of Shadows, he has the Evasion, he has the Vanish, lots of defensive cooldowns for him to utilize. But, as we said, small map Dalaran Sewers, they will be able to chase down. I think Asgraf might be one of their best targets in this match. And of course, with the Ride the Win from the Windwalker, Mez should be someone who's really looking to get connection over.
There is so much on the line here as well. If you are just tuning in, this is game number 3 of our last semifinal. Single elimination. Whoever goes down here goes home. This is our last EU team and our last team from Method. Panda Global from NA, waiting in the grand final for whoever comes out on top of this series.
This would actually be the first time in history that there could be a North American versus North American finals. I don't know if it's ever actually happened before, so history could be in the making here. So Synergy definitely feels like there's a lot of pressure on them. They definitely want to make sure they're doing everything they can to win this series. They're in a great spot so far, but ABC not giving up just yet. They have looked phenomenal this entire tournament, and they're ready to make sure that they can secure their spot in the finals as well.
All right, well, get out your history books and let's start filling up some pages. We're about to jump into game number 3. Casters, do the honors.
2014, we saw an all-European final. 2015, all-European final. 2016, NA's represented. 2017, it could be an all-North American final here if Method Synergy can win the next 2 games of the series. ABC looking to deny that. Alec on the Arcane Mage will be huge for the team.
Yeah, Alec on that Arcane Mage, he has a lot of mobility, but in this particular matchup, if Kolo was spam dispelling that displacement, Mez does have as well that Delirium talent, which makes all of Alec's blinks a little bit longer cooldown. They could theoretically train down Alec the entire game, try to get a lot of pressure that way. It looks like Nixie's going to open up on a Kolo, try to get a lot of soul pressure himself. He's going to be dropping that Vendetta. Kolo responds with the Earthen Shield Totem. Should be tanking out this damage quite nicely very early on.
Yeah, I think the Earthen Shield Totem is a very good trade for the Vendetta. Of course, Vendetta is a lot of stagnant damage, and the Earthen Shield Totem is the perfect mitigation for that, so well played by Kolo. He's gone over to the Relentless, so he's going to be able to reduce some of those stuns, and maybe that will help him to be more aggressive as we see right now. Here comes the offensive cooldowns. Once again, the Touch of Death from Trill is held, and Alec, it looks like he should just be able to walk out of this one.
Ooh, Asgaroth had a sick play there. He got gripped into the Blinding Sheet by that Death Knight, but he immediately displaced out, so they weren't able to get that crowd control. Now Kolo still under fire. Slowly, ABC is whittling through his defensive cooldowns. That is going to be his Astral Shift as well as his Ascendance. Alex still channeling those Arcane Missiles. Nixie looking to try to reconnect on a Kolo. I don't know if Kolo can last much longer. Method Synergy needs to make something happen.
Yeah, they really do. We see Kolo already expending a fair bit of his mana. Caught up in the kidney shot right now. That's going to be the anti-magic zone used out by Mez. That's basically the same cooldown as Darkness we saw from the Demon Hunter in the last matchup. So very significant here. Astral Shift is also down. Spirit Link will be the next rotation from Kolo if he can get into his team. Jumps in. Well played by him, but he has nothing left.
Yeah, Alec now caught into that full leg sweep. He is going to trinket out of it, but a lot of burst coming in. That is the first ice block. Very nicely done by Method Synergy. Alec doesn't really have anything left. Asgaroth might not be able to top him off. He does not have that Iron Bark available. Method Synergy might have found an opportunity here. They grip in Asgaroth. He's still crowd controlled up. Nixie has to use the evasion. Alec getting lower and lower, but the full kidney shot over onto Kolo. He needs to be able to survive just a little bit longer. Sick in cap coming in from Trill, giving Kolo a little bit of breathing room as they train down Alec. Iron Bark is traded out from Asgaroth. Alec trying his best to kite away, but it can be so difficult. Now caught into the full stun. A lot of damage coming in from Method Synergy. Kolo needs to be able to survive, but really it's only Nixie putting out pressure at the moment.
Yeah, it was a good Iron Bark there by Asgaroth, but it might not be enough. ABC need to run at this point. Kolo dropping low though. Can they get the counter kill? Looks like they're going for it. He's trying to use the purges, but he can't when he's this low on health. He's trying to juke the interrupts right now. Gets kicked potentially there by Nixie. He's just trying to kite away, but at the same time, there's nothing left on ABC. If he can survive, it looks like he should be able to stabilize here. Alec doesn't have his ice block. Asgaroth doesn't have his trinket. The next stun could be the kill.
Yeah, they just need one solid setup, one CC chain onto Asgaroth with a stun onto Alec. He will not be able to use those Arcane Mage blinks. He blinks away once again. Kolo caught in the full kidney shot. Alec trying to connect some damage. Temporal Shield coming up from Alec. That might be the only saving grace to keep him alive. He's just caught into that stun. Trinket coming up in 10 seconds. Alex tops himself, doing an excellent job playing defense. Arcane Power available as well. Kolo running out of time. A lot of burst onto Alec though. The Blood Elf Silence going to be coming in from Mez as Alec gets lower and lower. Asgaroth trying to keep him alive with that Iron Bark. Fist of Fury comes out. Alex going to be able to survive just a little bit longer. Full blind onto Mez. Beautiful peels coming in from Nixie.
That blind is a game changer for ABC, but Alec might still fall down here. Leg sweeps there. There's no more mana on Kolo. If they win, if they survive here, they will win this game. Kolo has nothing left. He cannot purge Alec any longer. They do survive. Vendetta onto Kolo. We see the anti-magic zone might be enough to keep him up in this situation. In cap, triple DR bash. They really are going all in for this. Can they get it? Looks like he jumps out of the anti-magic zone. Kolo falls. Such a close game, but ABC take it 2-1.
ABC right now trying to shut down an historic BlizzCon final. It would be the only NA versus NA final that we've ever seen at a BlizzCon. I'm not just talking World of Warcraft. ABC trying to represent EU right now, Sidu.
ABC definitely not out of this one yet. And as a Method Synergy fan, you gotta hate to see this because they basically threw away their their advantage at this point. They won that first blind pick, which gives them the one up in the entire series. They lock in their blind pick. They're not able to get that win. So unfortunately, now they need to do what ABC just did and get a reverse. But I think Synergy was just really slow to start that game. They did not get any of that initial Windwalker DK pressure that you see time and time again where they do the grip in, they get a lot of pressure, and almost looked like they were a go or two behind. And if they were actually in that one, you saw how close it actually was. Alec was so close to falling, and it was an excellent blind from Nixie that actually saved Alec in that situation.
Yeah, you definitely, that blind right there, Adrian, you pointed it out. Definitely the reason that they are still in this one. But the question is, what other plays were massive to changing the tides here? Let's jump into the replays and see what we have.
And like I said, Method Synergy was so slow to start. In this clip, you can actually see the Ascendance, the Healing Tide, the Spirit Link already down before anything was really forced from ABC. So Method Synergy so far behind. Let's go ahead and get this clip rolling. I believe this starts where they actually get their first little bit of pressure. They forced the Iron Bark a little bit earlier. One Fist of Fury, they actually get that the Ice Block forced there with no CC, which is fantastic for them. But if they were able to do that just a little bit earlier, you could see the assault going on back and forth, the in cap on Asgroth, the pressure on Alec, the kidney shot on Colo. It is a bloodbath right here, and so much damage onto Colo the entire game. He's trying to be as aggressive as he can, but Nixie's trying to out-aggress his aggression to make sure he can't, and he tops off a little bit with that Astral Shift. Unfortunately, he had to use that. He was trying to hold on for as long as possible, and Alec getting so close to dying here. This is an excellent blind by Nixie. That is what, you know, defines an excellent player. Normally you use those on the healer to try and secure the kill, and Nixie keeping his mage alive there. And you could still see how close he is to dying. You could really see how impactful that blind was. So Nixie, MVP of that game, keeping Alec alive when Asgroth could not, making the God plays basically. So great job by ABC, and at this point Colo is completely tapped. He went all in. Mez was not able to assist with that because of that blind from Nixie, and he has nothing left, and he does fall.
I want to talk about Colo and Method Synergy just a little bit before we really kick off just the ABC show, because we have plenty of things to say about them after that last game. But the main thing is we talk about Colo going all in. Absolutely bonkers. He just never stops. I think he's one of the only healers who can ever just go, to be honest, just go that ham. Now, the thing is, with this team, we've seen them employ this strategy a few times, and I'm thinking about that last match that we saw with them versus Rockets Esports. They stuck to their guns. They continued to go all in. The main thing that we saw them switch up strategy-wise was the actual timing of the all-in. It worked for Rockets Esports. It got them rattled. Now, Sidhu, do you think that there is potential to see something like that come out from them again?
I definitely think it could be a timing issue. Like I said, Synergy was very slow to start. I'm not sure if Colo was purging immediately, but you could tell they did not have pressure for such a long time, so maybe they were a little bit offbeat. But this is something where normally a healer kind of feels like it's his fault if you end up ooming or something. On the other hand, Colo basically says, this is our win condition. We need to win this way, or that's it. We have to play this comp this way. We saw Splice lose in a very similar manner when Nuvo's trying to play defensive, so I think they're in the right mind state. I'm not sure if this is the best matchup for them. I do think it's fairly difficult. This was their map pick, this was their comp pick, and for them to lose this in this situation, facing elimination at BlizzCon, they're in a really, really tight spot.
They are down right now, and it will take a huge amount of discipline to stick to their guns, to do what they are known for, but I think it is the right play. Venruki, how do you feel about that?
One thing that's interesting, ABC, I was talking a little bit to Alec, this year they really felt like they had to diversify their roster, play all kinds of different classes, all kinds of different compositions, sort of abandoning that rogue mage in the earlier cups as well as the the European regionals. Now at BlizzCon, they have sort of figured out that this mage druid synergy and this rogue synergy that they have built up over the years is paying dividends for them.
Yeah, Alec is the team captain. He is the spokesperson for this team. He played in only 28% of their games at Gamescom. They barely utilized him. They actually did use him against Rocket Eclipse to win that series. He won all 3 of the games for them in that, playing the rogue mage. So he has been there for the key moments, and once again here stepping up for his team.
I think the big thing is, though, too, when you think about Alec, even when he isn't necessarily inside of the arena for the team playing, he is still having a huge impact, a pivotal part of that team. This is such a good story for them, though, too. I mean, when you talk about Alec, you'd be absolutely remiss if you left out his shortcomings from that last EU regional qualifier, Adrian.
Yeah, and I mean, he won that one series for them, but of course, he had 2 other games where he lost out earlier, and there's always some questions. I mean, Europe and North America both have so many great mages. I mean, you've got Raikou, you've got No Lifer, you've got Jamili, you've got, I mean, some of the people on the desk, Venruki and Zico, like some phenomenal mage talent out there. But Alec is the one that's made it through. Like you say, because they diversified their roster, they were able to bring out those cleave compositions. Kara, of course, he's no stranger to the BlizzCon final, actually losing out to Venruki in 2012 back in China. And now as we see the draft, very curious to see what comes out of ABC.
We all also do know that the stigma of Rogue Mage actually playing up here on the main stage. But looking incredible is ABC. Method Synergy, though, now with the pick, as Sidhu has mentioned a little bit earlier.
Yeah, I think Method Synergy is in a really tight spot in this situation. Do they lock in the same comp? Do they try and switch up the strategy? When you are facing elimination to do something brand new that you have not done before, this is your BlizzCon title on the line. You've worked your entire year to get to this point, and such a big decision in such a crucial moment. This is what makes the best players from the players that aren't so good. So a lot of pressure on Synergy. I do have a lot of faith in them. I counted them out when they were down 0-2 in that series. They came back with the reverse series all the way to a 1v1 with Trill, so you can never count them out. But ABC definitely far ahead. You can see that Synergy's really taking their time here with the map. They want to make sure that they take every single element and aspect from that last series moving forward into this new series. I definitely can't disagree with them in that. Maybe they're thinking about pulling in Maldiva, but he has not had any tournament. I don't think he's had any tournament experience in the last regionals or this BlizzCon. So once again, a risky move. They got to kind of work with what's been working for him. So I'm kind of stressing out for Synergy here. I'm very worried for them.
Well, one of the things with picking this map here, Ashmane's Fall, not going to telegraph too much information to the other team. So they were able to take that blind. If they can conceal some information here, maybe they can do it again. ABC feeling very confident with this composition. And I feel like this is the right play for them. But now with Method Synergy having 100 seconds to make this choice, Adrian, do you expect to see anything come out?
I think they have to go with Mez and Trill, and once again we do see the Windwalker and the Demon Hunter. I would definitely not pick Maldiva in this situation. Mez and Trill have been doing such a good job of synergizing with Colo, not only offensively but defensively. They've been keeping him alive in some really difficult situations. Both of these guys also, they're just such good aggressive players. Like, they PvE at the top level, right? I mean, you've got Trill, who plays for Limit, one of the best North American guilds. You've got I think Mez also got like some world firsts for this entire tier. So these guys are really at the top of their game in any sense, and I can't wait to see what they do in Game 4.
This could easily be the grand final. I mean, the storyline here is already insane. You got EU versus NA, you have Method's last hope, you have EU's last hope. If this was the grand final, I don't think we would be disappointed. But ladies and gentlemen, if you're ready for this semifinal to get started, let me hear you make some noise. I'm excited for this one. Sidhu, what do we need to see come out from this NA squad if they're going to be able to get to Game 5?
I hate to say it, but we are going to need to see a miracle. ABC is now 4-0 against the composition they're going currently against. They have not lost a single game to this matchup. So Synergy locking this in, knowing they think this is their best chance, even though they have not lost against it. They must be really, really desperate. So they must have cooked up some weird strategy, something that we have not seen before. Maybe they're going to go for the rogue. Maybe they're going to try and be more relentless on that druid. But this is going to be a very, very difficult game for Method Synergy.
If you want to see that miracle happen, let me hear you!
So we are ready to load up into the game. The crowd, of course, in favor of Method Synergy, looking for that all-North American final. Method have been represented in several finals over the last few years, so definitely looking for that spot in their way, though ABC, and it's kind of the story of Tales. ABC playing all of these melee cleaves, but in the end, it's the Rogue Mage that sees them here and sees them one game away from the BlizzCon final.
Yep, Alec doing a tremendous job on that Arcane Mage so far. Nixie making sure he's pressuring Polo throughout the entire game. Polo really has to make a tough decision. Does he go all in? Does he spam Purge? Does he try to survive just a little bit longer by stalling out the game, keeping his mana bar high? Looks like Mez is going to get open on right away. Nixie immediately looking for a target change over to Polo, trying to get that pressure immediately. Incapacity over on Asgrath. A lot of pressure over on Alec, though. He displaces the way. Nice temporal shield as well. Asgrath throwing in that Iron Bark. So that should be enough to keep Alec alive for now, but still a tremendous amount of damage coming in from Method Synergy.
Yeah, we saw the Nemesis committed there as well as the Metamorphosis, but well anticipated by ABC, trading out the Iron Bark. But we see so much damage! Alec blocks on 5%. There's the Astral Shift force over onto Colo. The counter pressure coming out from Nixie is significant, but that is a huge step for Method Synergy.
Yeah, but Colo getting interrupted, getting lower and lower. Mez has to drop the darkness to keep him alive. Nixie reconnecting, though, going to be slowing down some of the ceiling. Touch of Death has been committed! Alec in so much trouble! Blood Off Silence comes in! Method Synergy ties it up!
It will all come down to this next game. Sidhu, how did they bring it back?
Method Synergy keeps their composure. They were able to execute that perfectly. I cannot believe that worked for them. They forced the Iron Bark immediately from Asgrath, but they don't care about CC. They kill straight through everything. Colo doing what he does best, playing aggressive, being in an elimination match, knowing that it does not matter if he survives, if he runs out of mana. There's only one thing that they need to do to win, and that is kill, and that's exactly what they did.
They're trying to do it the same way that they got here, and that is all in. Let's take a look at what went down in game number 4 as we get ready for game number 5.
I have to say I was a little disappointed from Synergy at the start of this matchup. There was not that much pressure. As Adrian said, they committed so much and it didn't look like they got that much. But Askroth, as soon as that Iron Bark fades, we can go ahead and start rolling this clip. You can see how much damage Alex actually takes in this Fist of Fury Sun. As soon as that Iron Bark fades, that is 100 to 10% in about a half a second. But you can see a little bit of counter pressure on Colo. He forces the Astral Shift, but he gets right back in there even after he gets counterspell. Look how low he is. He has faith in Mez. He has faith in himself. The Darkness Force, and you can see him. I believe he's just purging right now. The Touch of Death is up right now on Alec and the belt. Askroth can simply just not heal through it. He's not CC'd. He's not interrupted. And I think one of the big things is they've caught him, or they've put him in such an uncomfortable position. Maybe he's not playing Vim.
All right, well, in just a second here, we have one game that stands between us and our BlizzCon Grand Final. Don't go anywhere. We're going to give these players a few seconds to get ready. But when we return, we're going to see, is it going to be NA or EU?
The 2017 World of Warcraft Arena World Championship is brought to you in part by Republic of Gamers, Intel, T-Mobile, and NVIDIA.
If you are just tuning in, you have walked into one of the best series that has ever graced the BlizzCon stage. My name is Rich Campbell. I'm going to be your host, and joining me on the desk, we have some of the most veteran faces in the World of Warcraft scene. We have Venruki, Healing Stat, and Sea-Doo. Guys, it's all going to come down to this game. Whoever wins this will be going to the grand final to play against the NA team, Panda Global. Sea-Doo, they've done it with just sheer brute force here. I'm talking about method synergy.
Method Synergy is in a really, really tough spot still. I said it once, I'll say it again. They needed a miracle. Will Lightning strike twice? They need one more miracle. Is ABC going to lock in the same comp that they just lost to? It's a really tough position for them because they have not lost this composition before. Do they think it was a throw game? Do they think they figured out a strategy? Do they have to come out with something new for their elimination game? This is a really, really tough spot to be in, but this is why I love WoW Esports. This is fantastic. The crowd's here. The team showed up. You cannot want more from a BlizzCon.
Well, on the side of Method Synergy, Adrian, we do have a miracle worker, and his name is Trill.
It seems like Trill's on a mission of his own to just eliminate Europe from this competition. The 1v1 against Cervantes yesterday, and today he read ABC like a well-alphabet-sized book. He just outplayed all their quirns. We saw the Temporal Shield, we saw the Iron Bark, and he just waited with all his offensives, the Touch of Death, to kill Alec at the end of it. It was so well played.
The winner of this goes to the grand final. Is it going to be ABC or Method Synergy?
Game number 5 underway. Method Synergy looking for that all-in. We saw it in game number 4. Can they do it again? ABC needs to find a way to deflect it. I don't know if they're going to be able to.
Yeah, I mean, that's the question. No one in this arena knows, but I think a lot of people are certainly hoping that Method Synergy in this arena at BlizzCon can make it through to the BlizzCon final. Representing North America, representing Method, and Mez, Trill, and Colo will be the ones to do it.
Yep, Method Synergy going to be pushing in once again, looking for that initial damage over onto Alec. Nixie getting knocked out of stealth. Garrote over on Colo. Nixie once again trying to create some pressure over on Colo, making it very difficult for him to actually push in and get out those purges, but Alec already using that Temporal Shield. This is a good start for ABC. They didn't overlap the Temporal Shield with that Iron Bark, which is what ultimately led to their demise in last game.
Yeah, but no offensives yet committed by Method Synergy, so maybe the Temporal was a little bit early. We see the preemptive artifact coming out of Asgraf there as the cooldowns are committed by Mez. Defensive blind onto Trill. That's a change, an in-game adaptation coming out of Nixie, who has also committed his Vendetta to try keep Colo on the low, but now he's pushing in. There's no Vendetta for him to worry about. Alec dropping lower. Asgraf out of crowd control, able to stabilize his mage.
Oh, Nixie played that so intelligently, keeping his team alive for just that little bit of moment. He knows that they can just stall. They're going to get enough pressure on Colo to win this game. Trill saved his trinket there. Now peeling up Nixie, trying to reconnect to his target. Trill, I don't know if that was a little bit of a misplay, sitting that blind sap, lost his team a lot of pressure, but now finally Trill and Mez able to reconnect onto Alex, getting a little bit of damage. Temporal Shield is going to be used to deflect that, but really not doing too much. Alex just sat at 100% HP, and now Method Synergy wants to get aggressive, but in the meantime, kidney shot over on Colo. Mez running back using that darkness. That should be enough to keep Colo alive.
That was perfect timing from Nixie. The kidney shot forcing Mez back when Method wanted to get offensive. Now they take the lead. Ice Block is available for Alec. He won't want to have to trade it out just yet. No offensives being committed by Method in particular. We do see the Storm Up and Fire, and it will force the Ice Block regardless. Now, Touch of Death is available. No Iron Bark for about 15 seconds. Method have an opening.
Yeah, Method needs to go all in at this point in the game, but Colo is in a lot of trouble right now. That's a full kidney shot. He trinkets out of that right away. He has the Ascendance up. His healing is going to be empowered. Mez trying to create some pressure over onto Alec right now. Colo having to drop that Spearling Totem, but it's get killed off right away. Alec channeling the Arcane Missiles. Imprisonment onto Nixie. The only thing keeping Colo alive. Needs to be able to fake cast his kick, but Nixie's all over him. Then he eventually goes down.
ABC have done it. There will be a European in the grand final of BlizzCon 2017. I'm so happy for these guys. Cannot wait to see the next series.
And this is exactly how it should be, the grand final. EU versus NA. Give it up for ABC.
ABC just did such a fantastic job in that matchup, and honestly, I have to agree with Ben on that one. I think Trill maybe should have trinketed that blind. I think it just put him too far behind. They need to be more aggressive in that situation, and he's done such great things for Method Synergy. It feels so horrible to say that maybe he could have done something better, but sometimes it comes down to just that little mistake, and I have to agree with Ben. I do think he probably should have trinketed that blind. Maybe it wouldn't have mattered, but ABC advances. We have an EU versus NA BlizzCon once again, and I got to be rooting for my boys from North America.
And either way, we are going to have new BlizzCon champions crowned. No longer is the Reign of Terror a thing, and on top of that, none of these players have won a BlizzCon before. So every single player who wins, it is going to be their first BlizzCon victory. That has not happened in a long time. But everyone, one last time, give it up for Method Synergy.
Method Synergy had a really good series there. I really think that these guys, a lot of people were saying maybe Splice was the best team coming out of North America, but they had a phenomenal tournament. Trill in particular has made a name for himself, which will reverberate throughout the ages. He's going to be here next year. I can almost guarantee it. Maybe someone that Sidu might be eyeing up going into future, because he has the little cheek of the eye, but Method really have been represented here in this tournament. I'm so happy that, well, we got to witness such a great series from both these teams.
If you're NA right now, you got to be very scared of ABC. We got to be completely honest. They talk about a very scary matchup for them was Sneaky Snakes. So that I feel like that's the one thing that we have to pay attention to with Panda Global. But ABC as a whole, this is such a well-prepared team. They have been one of my favorites to take BlizzCon the entire time. So definitely shaking in our boots over here just a little bit as North Americans. But Sidu, how scary do you think? We know that Sneaky Snakes were scary for ABC. They said it was their worst matchup. Do you think that that's going to be mirrored at all when we actually do see this Panda Global final?
From what I understand, ABC was maybe struggling a little bit against those Hunter teams. Obviously, you couldn't kite the Hunter as much. You know what I mean? It's more about LOSing. The mobility is not as important. So I think that's one of the strong suits of Panda Global. We've seen him playing that Marksman Hunter time and time again. Jellybeans, the best at it. I have a lot of respect for that guy. Took me out in the North American finals, or excuse me, the regionals. So I think ABC, they just do their homework. They have the compositions, and I think if they play to the best of their ability, which we just saw here on the stage, I think they're going to be able to take Panda out, but you cannot count them out. You counted them out time and time again. Here they are. They took out the reigning champions, and they're ready to fight for their BlizzCon.
Well, let's hear what they have to say about it. Bajira, take it away.
Hey, thanks so much, Rich. We're just sitting here admiring this huge crowd we've got turned out here today. Thank you guys so much. And I'm here, of course, with Nixie. That was a pretty impressive series, one of the best ones that we've seen here at BlizzCon. So the question for you guys is, we've set up for an EU versus NA finals. That's a storyline that we really like to talk about a lot around here. Does representing your region mean something extra to you in terms of the way that you guys are going to be going towards the finals?
Well, we hope EU wins, of course, for the 4th time in a row. So we try our best to make it happen.
Fantastic. So in terms of making that happen, right, you guys just knocked off the #1 team in terms of the regional performance from NA. We earlier saw the European reigning champions, Method Triforce, get knocked off. What do you guys think your chances are in terms of winning the whole thing?
Well, we've never played against Panda Global, so it could go either way. But I'm pretty confident we got it. We got it.
And of course, speaking of Panda Global, they've been just absolutely tearing it up in this tournament so far. And I want to know, what do you guys have in mind for them? I mean, don't have to give me strats, but have you studied them? Have you researched what they do?
We haven't researched too much, but we have some different stuff we can try. But they're a really good team. I think Jellybeans is the best hunter around, so it's going to be good playing against him.
Awesome. I definitely think that we have an absolutely insane match lined up for the finals this year. You guys are doing a tremendous job. Keep that energy going. Let's throw it back to Rich. Let's do this.
I am so excited, Bajira, to jump into this grand final. It's going to be a good one. I think this is one of the most exciting BlizzCons that we have ever seen already. Right out of the gates, the first game, Ben Rookie, that we saw today was just so exciting, and it has not let up here in Anaheim.
Yeah, I don't know how many times today you said this is the most exciting game of BlizzCon. No, you're right, though. There's been so many good games today, that last one included, keeping everyone on the edge of their seat. I hope that the grand finals is the same thing.
I'm never hype, ever. This is just today. This is just these matches. But I'm really excited to see what the grand final is going to look like. Stay tuned. We're going to jump to a quick break, and when we return, we're going to be crowning a new champion of BlizzCon of the World of Warcraft Arena World Championship 2017.